Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to Retro Rumble here on the Jimbo channel with your host of the Nerd Battle Supreme, Jimbo. First of all, a big apology to you guys for last week's episode. I sincerely apologize for not announcing the previous week's winner, Hagar vs. Zangief. Big shout out to my buddy Josh, the Retro Gaming Maniac, for calling me on that, guys. I honestly just completely forgot. We were so caught up in the X-Wing versus R-Wing battle, man, it just removed itself from my mind. So, who won Hagar vs. Zangief? As voted on by you guys, the Nerd Elite, the Jimbo channel subscribers, Hagar won by a landslide, guys. A few of you guys voted for Zangief, including Chuck, actually, and he gave a very detailed explanation as to why he felt he would win, but in the end, it comes down to votes, and Hagar won it fair and square. So, now that we got 2 weeks to go settle, let's move on to last week. You guys had a really great turnaround on this one, man. I was really impressed with the amount of votes that we got on this one. Very big ups to you guys. Thank you so much for doing so. A lot of you new subscribers, actually. Hello. Welcome to Jimbo channel. Thank you so much for leaving a comment on that video. So last week it was X-Wing versus the R-Wing. Basically Star Wars versus Star Fox, so to speak. So, before I announce who won, guys, I'm just going to have to kind of call some of you out here for what I think to be a little bit too much, less of a nerd battle and more little fanboyism, maybe, towards Star Wars. At least I think. I could be wrong on that, but a lot of you guys gave your votes, but you didn't really give an answer. You know, you didn't really give an explanation as to why you felt the X-Wing was better. It's just, X-Wing will win, period. Whereas every single person who voted for the R-Wing gave a specific reason why they were voting for the R-Wing. For example, again, my buddy Josh, Retro Gaming Maniac, said, you know, the R-Wing would win because it can fly literally with both of its wings shut off, which actually does happen in the game. That's a very valid point. I mean, the X-Wing gets like shot once and it crashes and burns. Not to mention, this is one thing that I actually was hoping a lot of you would point out. So since you didn't, I'll actually go ahead and do it for you. Okay. So let's recall the first Star Wars movie, the big battle between the X-Wings, the Rebellion, and the Death Star. What happened? Okay, so the X-Wings go into battle with the Death Star, and do they win in the end with Luke Skywalker? Yes, they do, but let's look a little bit closer to the facts here, guys. Every single X-Wing was shot down except one in that battle, which would be piloted by Luke Skywalker. And you could argue, well, Luke blew up the Death Star. Okay, that wouldn't have happened if Han Solo didn't come in and back him up and take out Darth Vader. He would have been dead. So, you know, one shot from Vader, that would have been the end of it. So, I think that that's reasonable enough to make an argument that maybe the R-Wing might have the hand up on that one, maybe the leg up just a little bit, because, you know, it can fly with no wings, and the X-Wing just get hit once and explodes. And as one of you commenters actually left a really awesome comment, you said that if Porkins was flying the R-Wing, he actually would have won. A, that made me laugh my ass off, and B, you're probably right. He probably would not have been too fat for that ship. So, but regardless, guys, that's just my little 2 cents on the subject. You guys voted on it. Ultimately, what I think really doesn't matter. The X-Wing won it fair and square. So I hereby declare the X-Wing the winner, albeit begrudgingly, because I think that's bullshit. R-Wing for the win, but whatever. That's just my 2 cents. So, enough about last week. Let's get on to this week. Let's get on to the matchup. Guys, we've got one for the ages this time. Thought a lot about this one, and I really think that this is really what this show is all about, man. This is really the nuts and bolts of Retro Rumble. So this week, we've got two icons from the beat-em-up genre of video games. We can say all the way back to the original NES. We've got on one side, we'll call it the red corner, we've got Billy and Jimmy Lee, man, the Double Dragons, you know, the master of dragon-style karate, man, taking on the streets, beating the shit out of Willie and Shadow Boss, rescuing their mutual girlfriend, and we never really figured out which one of them was banging her, probably both of them, but anyways, they, you know, beat the bad guy's ass, saved the day, got the girl, man, awesome, epic ending. Then on the other side, we'll say in the blue corner, we've got Blade and Stryker, bad dudes, man, going head-to-head with Double Dragon, and I think really on both sides of this, guys, there's really definitely some pluses and minuses. On the bad dude side, dude, they rescued the president. You know, they beat down a freaking terrorist organization with pretty much nothing but their fists. You know, Billy and Jimmy Lee, they just rescued their girlfriend. So, you know, strategy and tactics, you know, maybe a little bit more towards bad dudes, but I mean, you know, on the same token, the Double Dragons, dude, they've got, you know, Dragon Karate, man. They're like the only two guys in the world, like, badass enough to freaking harness the power of this fighting style. So, I think that leaves a lot to the imagination as far as if both of these guys met in a straight-up street fight, no guns, no nothing, no outside interference, just 2-on-2 in a freaking rumble, on the street, just like in the video games, which team would come out on top? Would Billy and Jimmy Lee stomp ass? Or would the bad dudes, Blade and Stryker, be triumphant? But that's enough about what I think, guys. Ultimately, this is about what you guys think. I want to see some comments. I want to see some battling. And guys, don't just say, oh, bad dudes will win or Double Dragon win. Guys, tell me why they would win. Give specific reasons. Nerd out. Nerd rage a little bit. That's what this show is about. I want to hear you guys just go on your little tangent about why you think this side or that side is better. But as always on this channel, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get it on.